Lucas Oil Studios and riding on a dope set of General Tires. It's SpeedFreaks, Kenny Sargent, Crash Gladys, Richie, Cole, and Cody. Big Johnson. This isn't a show, it's a takeover, no rules, no limits, just speed, smoke, and straight talk. Strap in, Freak Nation! This is Speed Freaks and Horsepower Humpday!
We already won. We already won. Still got Black Rock. Where's the smoke at? Yeah.
Freak Nation, what is up? Welcome to Horsepower Hump Day, everybody. We are back. We are live on YouTube, amongst other platforms, on the Twitters, on the Facebooks, other things as well. I'm Richie Suave Flores. Kenny and Crash are off today. They are on a little bit of a road trip. They'll be back on Sunday night on FS2, 10 o'clock Eastern, 7 o'clock Pacific. I am joined, of course, today across the way from me here by Cole Cusimano.
Oh!
And, Cole, we got a bunch to talk about today, do we not? We have a lot to get to. Here's what's coming up in the show. We have finally got an answer from Ross Chastain regarding what exactly went down between him and Daniel Suarez on pit road on Sunday at Las Vegas after he declined comment right in the aftermath on Sunday night. And so we have comments from him. Daniel Suarez responded via his YouTube channel. You're going to hear that as well. And we're going to pick sides, ladies and gentlemen. This is like, they didn't actually fight on pit road because NASCAR has a policy, which we'll get to in terms of how much money it costs somebody if you throw a punch. So they didn't actually come to blows on pit road, but they did exchange words. So we're going to declare a winner. We'll get to that. We have an update on Alex Bowman and his future with Hendrick Motorsports over the next month. Daniel Dye has been indefinitely suspended by NASCAR, so we're going to get to that. Ricky Stenhouse Jr. joined Cole, Kenny Crash from Phoenix Raceway. We're going to play that interview for you coming up a little bit later. And then we're going to wrap up the show with some IndyCar news, a little bit of a conspiracy theory surrounding Alex Palou, and we're going to debut a new segment that we're calling Track Tears, Cole.
Yeah, I'm pumped for that one.
This is the kind of production we put into the show, everybody. We did not come up with the creative name, so we're just calling it Track Tears. We'll explain, and we'll wrap up the show with that, and then preview Darlington as well, which I know Cole and I, and most of you, Freak Nation, are really excited about, I'm sure, because of the horsepower changes that are in store for us come Sunday afternoon. All right, let's get to the big story so far, Cole. It is Daniel Suarez and his Ross Chastain. We got comments from both of them this week regarding what happened to them and their incidents. We kind of got more of an idea of why these two came to blows in the first place and why they were angry at each other that we couldn't figure out on Sunday. Mm-hmm. But like, what do you make so far of this? Now that we're a couple days into it, we're going to hear from Ross and from Daniel Suarez in just a second. But before we get to the videos, whose side are you on so far?
I think I'm on Daniel Suarez's side, honestly, which is might be a hot take. I don't really know. It just seems like after watching all the videos between the on-track stuff and what both parties had to say, I don't know. Daniel Suarez just seemed like he was more like open to like what really happened, and he really broke into detail what exactly happened on track. Whereas Ross was kind of more hard-headed, like, you know, this has been going on for years, yada, yada, yada. But I think what it boils down to for me is what happened on the track. That's why this all transpired on pit road. And, like, Daniel Suarez had, like, a 7-minute video he put out of the situation, his side of things, whatever. And every view that I saw of the on-track stuff that happened throughout the race was all, it looked like Chastain inflicted. Like, I didn't see anything that Suarez did wrong there. Suarez wasn't the one that like put hands on Chastain initially, so I'm team Daniel, team Suarez.
Mark it down, Freak Nation. Cole Cusimano is an amigo.
I am,
because if you, as Daniel Suarez so coined, if you are not an amigo, you are an enemigo.
Mm-hmm.
You're an enemigo. All right, so let's hear from both of these guys. Daniel Suarez from his YouTube channel and Ross Chastain did some media availability with the folks at NASCAR and whatnot, where he addressed the situation as well. Cody, let's play. Let's go with Daniel Suarez first, because he was the first to respond to this via his YouTube channel. And again, pretty much like a 5-minute video that he put out where he addressed the situation in whole. I grabbed about 90 seconds to 2 minutes of it and boiled it down, but you can go watch it on his YouTube channel if you want to see the full context. So here's Daniel Suarez talking about what went down between him and Ross Chastain on track and in pit lane on Sunday. No audio, huh?
Whoa.
Oh. Okay, well, that's a problem. Okay.
Good start.
Yeah, we're off to a great and roaring start, everybody. Hopefully that doesn't happen for the rest of the show. Anyway, basically what Daniel Suarez said is like him and Ross have gone into it. You know, they were never really close at all. They were their personalities are completely conflictive to each other, and so they just never really got along in the first place. And that seemingly is kind of what came to a head in Las Vegas. And he was kind of explaining that a couple of their on-track incidents on Sunday too, where one was on like lap 2 where they made a little bit of contact, and there was a little bit of contact later in the race, but it was nothing like super spectacular. And Daniel was like, yeah, it happens. This happens in the race, et cetera, et cetera. And he was like, and Daniel was like, listen, you know, it is what it is. You know, let's kind of move on type of thing. So Ross Chastain also responded in a NASCAR thing this week. And here's what Ross Chastain had to say. Hopefully the audio works here. If not.
Ah.
Are we 0 for 2?
0 for 2.
Oh, man. Oh, awesome.
Good stuff.
Awesome technical difficulties today, folks. I don't know why that is.
Way to lead things off here with the hot-hitting topics.
Yeah, Cody's going to take care of this, so we can yap a little bit more and hopefully get a second.
We could like circle back to it, maybe, or like,
well, so
just like keep digging into it.
We can
like, what do
we can circle back. Let's circle back to it.
Yeah, might as well.
Let's circle back to it while Cody's working on that stuff. Let's move on to Alex Bowman a little bit.
Okay.
So Alex Bowman, we know he has been dealing with what Hendrick Motorsports says are symptoms related to vertigo, and here's the Hendrick Motorsports statement. He's missed the last 2 races, right? He's missed Phoenix and Las Vegas due to the symptoms after leaving the car early at COTA earlier this month. This is the Hendrick Motorsports statement. They said, Alex continues to experience symptoms, so we are following the guidance of the medical team and giving him the time he needs to recover. We see how hard he's working to get back behind the wheel, and we're looking forward to his return when he's medically cleared. Everyone at Hendrick Motorsports is 100% behind Alex. Justin Allgaier is going to pilot the number 48 Chevrolet through Bristol, which is the next 3 races. Justin had a tough race last weekend when he took over the car at Vegas. It continued. Justin Allgaier is a true professional and someone we have tremendous confidence in. He's always had success at the upcoming tracks, and we appreciate him stepping in to help the 48 team. Cole, what do you make of Alex Bowman? We talked a little bit about this last week too, but again, just a follow-up. What do you make of Alex Bowman now being out of the car for what is going to be now over a month now?
It's a shame, man. He just passed 30 years old. He figured this is like the peak of his career. He's competing in the best equipment in the sport right now. And for that to be taken away from him, and to be taken out of contention for a championship potentially this early on, it's a shame. It really is. But I really don't know what to make of this whole vertigo deal because I don't have a whole lot of knowledge on the illness.
Yeah.
But from what I've read, it sounds like it could last for months. So I don't know if that's the case. They said also somewhere that there were no concussion-related symptoms to this, so it's all vertigo, I guess. But just a very odd circumstance for Alex Bowman once again in the Cup Series in his career, and I am very excited to see what Allgaier could do. You know, he had a rough start at Vegas, got that early speeding penalty, can never rebound, but it's still top-tier equipment. It's still Justin Allgaier, and just to see him have a fair shot in good equipment where he didn't have it when he first made the jump to the Cup Series back in the day, it's really cool, and I hope he can have a few good runs here while Alex is on the mend.
Yeah, I feel like now it's like, look, Justin has been pretty clear that he's never going to go back to the Cup Series again. He's not interested in doing it. So it's not an audition for him in that 48 car. But, I mean, we talked about it last week, and I hate to say this, but it feels like Alex Bowman's days with Hendrick Motorsports are – his contract is up at the end of the year. It's unfortunate circumstances, but it definitely seems like he's on the last legs of his tenure in the 48 team. And he's had some great moments too, man.
Yeah.
He's won plenty of races. One of my favorites, of course, was when he won in Chicago in 2024.
Oh, yeah. That was an awesome time.
That Cole and I were both at. And he kind of won that race almost out of nowhere with a great final stint as the track was starting to dry out. And that was I think that was his last win.
It was, yeah.
His last win in the Cup Series to this point. So, I think it's a shame that his health has failed him here. But, hey, if he's able to come back later this year, he's got that Hendrick power underneath him. Maybe he'll able to get back in victory lane before the end of the year.
Yeah. I mean, it'd be great to see. It'd be a great story. Also, I just randomly thought about this. Alex Bowman had this track killer reputation. He won at Chicagoland. We lost that. He won at Fontana. We lost that. Chicago. We lost that now. Yeah, look at that.
Yeah.
Add to his list of tracks he slayed.
Hey, Chicagoland's coming back, though. So it's like resurrection.
Right. Yep.
Yeah.
Dexter Resurrection, am I right?
There we go. Okay, Cody says we might actually are able to try this again.
All right.
So, as we were just talking about a few minutes ago, we were talking about Daniel Suarez and Ross Chastain. Let's see if we can actually maybe the Trackhouse Inspire got to the Gremlins got to us, and they said no, you can't play that audio because we don't like NASCAR beef. Even though Cole and I love ourselves some prime NASCAR beef, put that baby on the grill and grill it up as much and often as we can. All right, so we teased a little bit earlier. Let's see if we can actually hear from Daniel Suarez this time. Maybe. Still. Oh.
Damn. No shame.
That's strange. Okay. Well. The intro worked. Yeah, the intro worked. Okay. So all right.
Hopefully Stenhouse works.
Hopefully Stenhouse works. I want you all to hear that Ricky Stenhouse interview because it was a great interview.
It was
too.
a good one.
Okay. Yeah. So there's the Bowman. Let's continue on here.
Well, actually, if we can't play those clips, I want to hear your side of things with the Daniel Suarez and Ross Chastain.
Yeah. For me, it just seems like these two guys just don't like each other for whatever reason, and Ross kind of went on to apologize a little bit at least.
I didn't see that.
Yeah. He said, in the moment, I definitely was hot and angry, and I would do things different if I had time to think about it. So there you go.
Okay. All right.
Yeah, definitely would not have swerved into him after the race. I didn't mean to. I would do that different and go back, and then I wouldn't have shoved him for sure. He said, I put all my thoughts into a text and sent it to him, so I had it logged. I don't agree with the way he handles things, and mainly just how he does it and how he just doesn't. That's what made me so mad on pit road was just there was no accountability. There was 0% on his side across not just this weekend. It's just a bigger thing, and it's all boiled up quickly for me, and we'll work to handle that better. I saw red in that moment. It's an accountability thing. Taking a little I just need a little slice of responsibility from him, and there's always a reason why it wasn't his fault. So he seemingly is saying Daniel Suarez is playing the victim a little bit there.
Interesting.
But for me, I'm a little bit more on the side of Daniel Suarez in this particular situation where Suarez was seemingly ticked off because of more so what happened after the race.
Yeah.
And that's the one thing that
that's
the one thing that you didn't get to hear in the clip there where he talks about that. I was like, hey, that's a safety thing because for a lot of us in the seat, we take the checkered flag and we're unbuckling our seatbelts, et cetera, et cetera.
Right.
Race is over. And what happens on the track stays on the track. But once you get to the checkered flag, the race is over. So using your car after the checkered flag crosses the line. I think that seemingly is what ticked Daniel Suarez off and why he went to go talk to Ross on pit road like he did.
Yeah.
So, in this particular situation, I see more from what Daniel Suarez is talking about here. And look, Ross did not have a good race. So
no, he didn't.
I think he was ticked off from not having a good race. He's underperforming this year. Underperforming Shane Van Gisbergen on ovals, for goodness sake. Shane has a better just better off in the points than Ross this year so far. So these are two guys that are, they're like middling in the points. I believe both of them are outside of the playoffs looking in, but they're not too far away at this point in time. So for me, Ross Chastain did what he did because he was frustrated after the race. And we don't have the screenshot pulled, but, there was Ricky Stenhouse Jr., who's coming up later in the show. He posted a reply on Twitter to somebody who was like talking about, oh, well, I didn't want to get fined the $50,000 or whatever, right? Mm-hmm. Well, Ricky Stenhouse Jr., who knows a thing or two about getting fined for throwing punches, he was like, nope, it's $75,000.
Yep.
It's $75,000.
And to add some context to that, Suarez went on Sirius XM, and he said that he could have easily dropped him in like 5 seconds. But what good would that do me? So I found that to be really hilarious. But yeah, the Stenhouse weigh-in was also pretty good.
That does lead to another conversation, which I saw popped up a little bit as well, which is NASCAR seemingly doesn't want these drivers to get into it on pit road.
Yeah.
Which is why they've added in this fine in recent memory. And that seems to have really kind of chalked down on the amount of times we see incidents in pit lane or garage or whatever. Would you like to see NASCAR do away with that?
Absolutely. It's great for the sport. Like, we're talking about it right now. Mm-hmm. And I feel like whenever there's beef, you go back over the years with Kyle Busch and Brad Keselowski and whoever else. Like those were that was like the golden age where people were invested because these guys are fighting on pit road. Yeah. And it's the spirit of the competition, So I don't know. I think we're starving for more confrontations like this.
Yes.
Maybe not punches being thrown, but more screaming matches and just things of this nature to where we're talking about things come the middle of the week.
Because what was the like? I want to make sure I get this right, but it was a Daytona 500 of past, and it's one of the most famous videos in NASCAR history. And I want to get this right. Okay, yeah, it was Allison and Cale Yarborough at the 1979 Daytona 500, and to me, that's like one of the most indelible images in NASCAR history. And the reason why is because, if I'm not mistaken, that 1979 Daytona 500 was the first Daytona 500 that aired live on national television, right? Mm-hmm. And what do people get in that 500? They get Cale Yarborough and Donnie Allison going at it in the grass. Mm-hmm. And that was one of the most famous incidents in NASCAR history. And now it can't happen.
That's what really set NASCAR over the top. It's what blew them up to stardom and being this big motorsports mecca in America. So
yes,
I think it's a big miss on their part to have these hefty fines. And again, they don't got to be full blown punches in the UFC fight, but let these guys go at it to some extent.
Because I also think about the NBA too, because the NBA doesn't. You don't really see skirmishes as much as you did back in the day, but obviously the brawl at the Palace with the Detroit Pistons years ago was Malice at the Palace. Thank you. Years ago was like the most famous incident of such where there was a massive melee. Mm-hmm. But you go back to the 80s and you go and you watch the Pistons of that era. And the kind of basket they were not afraid to throw punches. The Boston Celtics of that era weren't afraid to throw punches.
Oh yeah,
and those heated rivalries, to use that phrase. Still haven't watched it, by the way. Don't plan on to.
Yeah, me either.
Those heated rivalries are what draws you to competition, the sports, and that's what's missing out on in NASCAR right now, which is that, and we've talked about this on SpeedFreaks over the last several years, where it just seems to me like there's just not enough of these rivalries on track like there used to be.
Yeah.
And again, part of it is, everything's all PR now. And so everybody's like, don't do this. I think actually, I believe, didn't somebody talk about that? Was it Suarez? Maybe it was Chastain or somebody else on Twitter. And they were like, I saw some people, maybe it was fans, who were saying PR doesn't want us fighting because it's bad for the sport.
Oh yeah, no, they don't. They definitely don't, and that's why Lauren got involved so heavily. Which, by the way, she's a freaking badass. That was so cool to see.
And so it's which I completely disagree. It's that's what gets you attention. That's what makes you go viral.
It's true, but they got to do all the damage control and feed them what to say and write all these press releases. So it's I understand it.
Yeah.
But yeah, it is hurting the sport. But even to go back to your comparison to the NBA. Like even the MLB used to be huge benches clearing brawls, like actual brawls. Like the '86 Mets would be throwing punches and kicking people and stuff. Yeah. And now it's like, oh, I see benches cleared. It's like they just walk out of the dugout, start jawing off, walk away. It's nothing. It's nothing.
Give a little hug. How you doing,
It was
buddy?
a different time back
nice
then
to see you.
in the 80s and whatnot, but I miss that stuff, man.
Yeah. I'm trying to think like the last time. Oh, I guess it was Sam Mayer last year. Was it Sam Mayer? Was it that incident in the Xfinity Series?
Yeah, it probably was.
I think that was the last time where like actually, hang on, let me find this because I need to find this. Keep talking, Cole, because I'm going to find this list of actually it's going to relate to our next topic too because we're getting into Daniel Dye in just a second.
Was he part of that incident?
No, it was suspensions.
Suspensions, okay.
Yes, and I think he was part of that.
I mean, yeah, because all I can think of it recently was like Gregson and Chastain in the Cup Series. You had a few with Gregson in the then Xfinity Series, now O'Reilly Series, which I believe Sam Mayer was a part of one of those.
Yeah. Sam Mayer got suspended for a race for intentionally wrecking post race, and I think that's what led to an incident after the race in the garage.
Yeah, was that with Taylor Gray? Maybe.
Yes, it was. Yeah,
okay,
because I think you're right. Because I think like there was Taylor Gray's dad was like right in the middle of that.
Yeah,
that's right. Yeah. Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was, and then Big Glenn pointing out Noah Gragson and Sam Mayer.
Yep.
And then Noah Gragson and Ross Chastain were the last couple times. So my memory sometimes fails me, y'all. So if you're in the chat and I don't remember these exact details, please let us know.
Yeah.
But yeah, so that was the last time that there was some beef in the garage. So Sam Mayer did get suspended for that on-track incident.
Oh.
Hello? Hi, Ross.
Oh, well.
Okay. Hey, we're silencing you, Ross. Don't come at us. We're not trying to silence you. But, yeah.
Maybe we are.
We'll get that worked out. So hopefully you can hear from Ricky Stenhouse in a little bit. All right. So speaking of suspensions, big story of this week is that of Daniel Dye. I'm going to read from the NASCAR story here, so that way I can give you the context to what's going on here. Daniel Dye has been indefinitely suspended from NASCAR after insensitive comments made during a recent live stream. Daniel Dye is a driver of the number 10 Kaulig Racing Ram in the NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series. He was penalized in the NASCAR rulebook, which states NASCAR members shall not make a public statement or communication that criticizes, ridicules, or otherwise disparages another person based upon that person's race, color, creed, national origin, gender, sexual orientation, marital status, religion, age, or handicapping condition. Daniel Dye was discussing his experience around the NTT IndyCar Series driver David Malukas while opening trading cards on a recent live stream, during which the 22-year-old Dye used language that officials deemed unacceptable, resulting in Tuesday's suspension. Dye must complete sensitivity training before he may return to competition. AJ Allmendinger is going to be the fill-in driver at Darlington for him. This is not the first incident from Daniel Dye getting involved with trouble with NASCAR. He was suspended for inappropriate behavior in 2022 while he was driving the ARCA Menard Series. When he was 18 years old, he was suspended after he was arrested in Daytona on a felony battery charge in which he was said to be at a game around high schoolers. Dye hit fellow student in the groin. The charge was later dismissed, with Dye undergoing anger management class, community service, and paying restitution to the victim. Dye was later reinstated for racing. NASCAR, I think, made the right call here. They had to do this. I'm going to say this flat out and plainly as I can. We're not going to, first of all, we're not going to play what Daniel Dye said on the live stream. We're not going to play that. Give it any more run than it's necessary. There is no business, not only in NASCAR, sports, in society in general, for anything related to the homophobic type comments made by Daniel Dye. It was awful, and it was disgusting, and he's 22 years old. I'm sorry, dude. And I saw some people making these comments too. Like, at 22, you are out of college normally. You're a grown-ass man at that point.
Absolutely, yeah.
Should know better.
Exactly.
You should absolutely know better than to say these things off camera or on camera. The fact that he did it on camera was even dumber.
Yeah.
And I'm glad that he's got suspended, and he's going to have to pay the price for what he said. You know, will he drive again? I don't know. But it's just, absolutely does not belong in NASCAR, and I'm glad they made the decision that they did. I'm glad Colleague made the decision that they did, and he's going to have to suffer the consequences for what he said. And yeah, that's that. No place in the sport.
Yeah, I mean, there's not much else left to say on the topic, honestly. Very well said. It's just we've seen the precedent set recently with other drivers in the Cup Series or the Xfinity O'Reilly Series, to where this is not going to be acceptable, and it shouldn't be acceptable, as you said. So it's just, it doesn't make any sense to me. Like you have this dream job. You're racing cars for a living, and you make these stupid comments, just being a dumbass online. Like for what reason? I just don't understand it. And I don't know. Like he had this incident in the past where he punched the kid in the groin, and he came back into the sport. I thought he had made some progress in his maturity. I was actually at the NASCAR awards banquet last year where he accepted an award for his race to prevent suicide. That what his cause was. His father's involved with that. His family's involved with that cause. It's a great cause. He gave a really remorseful and very emotional speech. And I was like, oh, this kid's great. It's like he's a new person. Sure enough, 3 months later he says this dumb shit. So it's just stupid, and there's no place in the sport or anywhere for it. So. Good riddance.
Yep. Here's some. I pulled this great graphic here from Seth Eggert, who put together a graphic of all of the suspensions that have been handed down from NASCAR over the last several years, to give us an idea of kind of the penalties that can kind of be faced from this. So let's see here. Let's go through Noah Gragson, who liked a derogatory racist Instagram meme, was forced to go sensitivity training, and he was suspended. And he was suspended, ended up being suspended for 6 races before he was reinstated. Let's see. We have a couple other part-time drivers who were suspended for derogatory social media posts who, didn't have to miss that many races. Kyle Larson, of course, for using the racial slur while he was iRacing, missed in 32 races. Lost his ride completely for the rest of that season, of course. So there you go. That's a couple of the incidents that we had previously with that. So, yeah, just to give you the full context of the story, Cody, are you able to bring up his statement so we can just kind of give an idea? I'm not going to read this whole thing, but I want to first apologize to David Malukas. I was recently on a live stream with some close friends and made some careless comments. I chose my words poorly, and I understand why it upset people. He says, I have some close friends in the LGBT community who I would never want to feel less of themselves because of what I said. I'm taking this seriously and working on being more aware and respectful moving forward. I know I've got a platform and a responsibility, and I need to use it better. That's Daniel Dye's post on social media earlier this week. So there's that. And we'll see if he ever gets back in the ride there with Colleague and the NASCAR Truck Series. All right, let's move on. Cody, you said you think the audio is working now? I think I fixed it. You think you fixed it? Okay. Let's give it a try, shall we? Let's put the fire poker into the fire and see if it works. That's not the right thing. Anyway, okay.
The fire cran.
Sure, go with that. Okay, so we mentioned Ricky Stenhouse Jr. a little bit. He posted the thing on Twitter about being fined $75,000 for a physical altercation he had with Kyle Busch several years ago. He joined Kenny, Crash, and Cole at Phoenix Raceway, and we want to play that for you now. Here's Ricky Stenhouse Jr. in the Freak Nation.
So Stenhouse, I'm thinking about with the IndyCar here, and of course with your sprint car days. Well, they're not over. I know you still run every now and then. But one of the things that IndyCar drivers would talk about and sprint car drivers would talk about was the ability to see your wheels when you're driving, all right? So watching these IndyCars from your perspective, a guy that spent a lot of time on dirt and sprint cars, is that still something that you look at when you're in the sprint car versus when you're in your stock car going, I can't see, there's my wheels. Is it still different for you when your wheels are covered?
No. I think, man, I tell you what, if you're looking at your front wheels in a sprint car, you're not looking near far ahead enough. So, I feel like the only time that I really look at my front tires is probably when I'd run like Chili Bowl or something. Especially like when you're up on the berm, you kind of could, you're looking at the berm and where you're running on the inside. But for the most part, yeah, I don't worry about where my front tires are.
Maybe not looking at your wheels. Maybe you just see it. Listen, you're way up there, but you just see them moving down here versus that freaking wheel well.
It is nice to know that they're still there, I guess. But, I think, the stock cars, I've been driving stock cars for a lot longer now than I've been racing sprint cars. So, I think over the years you just get used to, kind of knowing where your fenders are and, knowing that your tires are under there somewhere and, hopefully you don't lose one. But, sprint car racing is just a totally different feel. It is different. You got to race different, knowing that you're running up on somebody and you're cutting it close to make a pass, and there's major consequences if you're in an Indy car or a sprint car and you don't judge that right. So at least with the stock car, you can kind of bounce off each other a little bit.
Growing up in Mississippi, I don't know if you had any desire to run IndyCar or open wheel of that nature. Did you follow that at all?
No, I always really kind of focused on whatever I was doing at the moment. I didn't really let myself think too much, too far ahead. I know that, the one thing I knew growing up is I just wanted to race for a living. I didn't care what it was. So when I moved to Indianapolis in 2007, I kind of felt like, sweet, I made it. I'm driving for Tony Stewart in his sprint car team. I'm racing USAC, making my first money, putting money in a bank account for the first time. I kind of thought that's what I was going to do. Then doors opened, opportunities came about to go stock car racing. And that was kind of, I feel like a few years before that was kind of the transition of guys, going from USAC to sprint cars versus USAC to Indy cars. So I never really thought much further than what I was doing at the moment. But I do know that, the sprint car route did go IndyCar forever, and I look back on those days and, look at that kind of pipeline and feeder series to IndyCar. And that was a really cool time that I wish I'd have ran USAC back then, just because I think, just a cool time frame of motorsports for sure.
Where we are now, and it wasn't a complaint, but it was like guys with a smaller car team versus Hendrick or Penske was once this Gen 7 car came in, kind of equalized things for people. But now that Hendrick and Penske had all this crazy money, they've started to figure things out. Is there something that we could do in the future to where smaller teams can kind of at least sniff what Hendrick and Penske are doing?
Yeah, I don't know. It's really tough. Like you said, when this car came out, there was tracks that we were really, really competitive on, because, everybody was trying to figure out what to do with this race car, how to make speed with it, how to make the handling good, for you. And, we ran a month. I think our worst finish was 7th out of like 5 races or something in a row. And I was like, dang, we got this figured out. And then all of a sudden, like those bigger teams started, figuring more things out, and it just kind of, made us, kind of go down the leaderboard a little bit. I like what we've been able to accomplish at Hayek Motorsports. As a single car team, we got 35 employees, and, but to make it better for the smaller teams, honestly, I think, we have great people. Just more information would be nice, whether that be from Chevy or from, we got a relationship with Hendricks. So I don't really know exactly what that would be. I've actually thought about that this week. So it's kind of crazy you asked me that question. Like if somebody asked me what exactly do we need to go faster? I was kind of wondering what that answer was too. So
Kyle Larson has 25 people to put his Hans device on.
Yeah. So, I don't know exactly, kind of pinpoint what would make us, take that next step to be, where those guys are or not. I do know that my guys work really, really hard, and I felt like we learned a lot last year of what not to do. So I think that'll help us, maybe send us in a path of when we're trying to make our cars faster this year, maybe send us in a different path, and maybe stumble upon something there that will make us more competitive. But I like where we're at as a race team. We go to racetracks, and we know which racetracks are kind of our racetracks and where we can go be really competitive. But let me report back to you on exactly what we need.
Let you guys jump in. But all that being said, with your team, again, Hendricks, Penske, take Ricky Stenhouse put him in the 5, put him in the 12, put him in the 22. Are you doing what those other drivers are doing in those cars?
Yeah, absolutely. I think, I've got the confidence in what I can do, behind the wheel of a race car. And I think everybody in this garage has that same confidence, and that's why we're here. So, I try not to, let myself think too much about, what it would be like driving, different race cars, because the opportunities that we have right now at Hayek is, trying to build, what we have, for the single car team. And, I take a lot of pride in what we've been able to accomplish and what we're able to do. And, I think for me, I don't really worry about what the fans or really a whole lot of what the media says, but I think it's really cool when, what we do at Hayek and we go out, and have a really good run and the respect you get in the garage, from the other race teams. I think that's really cool, something that I definitely enjoy being in the spot that I'm in right now. And look, I've been doing this a long time and, it's, and maybe, I hope to do it, for a lot longer. So, like I said, I enjoy where I'm at and want to keep, kind of continuing to build off of, what we've done so far.
So before we did this interview, you got a FaceTime call. I'm really curious. Was that Stetson calling you?
That was my wife and Stetson. He calls a lot. It's always kind of a bummer not having him at the racetrack every weekend. He loves coming in the garage while the guys are going through tech, and I give him a Phillips blade screwdriver, and he goes through and just kind of acts like he's working on the car. So I FaceTimed him when I was golfing this morning. He loves golf. I was at the baseball game. He loves baseball. He loves basketball. So I think he's going to be kind of like me growing up. I played all sports growing up and raced as well. So hopefully we'll get him in a go-kart soon.
I love hearing that. So he's taken kind of an interest into the racing side of things, it sounds like, early on. What's been the most gratifying thing about fatherhood for you early on? He's about to be 2 years old this year, right?
Yeah, this year he's going to be 2. He's about a year and a half so far. I think the biggest thing is just... I think back to the race at Nashville last year, and we had a really good season going. We get crashed early. Come back to the bus. I'm kind of mad about it, obviously. And he's in the bus, and I sat in my suit, laid on the floor, and just played with him for, I don't know, maybe another full stage. So like that right there, just it just put into perspective what's super important to me. Racing is important, and I try and do the best I can on the racetrack. But it's just nice coming home to a son that doesn't really care how you did. So that's been really fun. That's been really enjoyable. And then just, watching him grow up, I'm already missing the stages of right out of the hospital. So it's you hear it all the time of, seeing your kids grow up and your friends having kids. And now I get to experience it for myself. And I wish he'd slow down a little bit.
Oh my gosh, your family's everything, man. I'm really curious, actually. So you're one of the best drafting track racers in the business. We go to Daytona, we go to Talladega. You see a lot of these fuel saving situations. As somebody who's usually very aggressive and you're always towards the front, how do you feel about that mentality at these drafting tracks?
Yeah, I think I've enjoyed it, actually, because I feel like the strategy that we have as a race team has been able to come into play more. So I feel like I've learned to be really good at saving fuel, but also keeping our track position. And that's a strategy and a art that I feel like helps our team out. I feel like we won Talladega because of it, because we were able to save fuel. We took less, fuel on pit road, but we also positioned ourselves at the front of the field. We got the lead, and that wreck happened. Second place was in the wreck, and we were leading at the time. So, I enjoy it. If it was wide open and all out, I think at some point, no matter what rules, no matter what changes, everybody's still going to be saving fuel. We save fuel as soon as they tell us to start the engines. We fire it up, shut it off, no matter what track we're at. So that's going to be something until, I guess, you can put fuel in the car faster than you can, change 4 tires. Now that we went to the single lug, I think that's changed the game when it comes to fuel saving.
Ricky Stenhouse Jr. is currently 29th in NASCAR Cup Series points as he tries to get himself back in contention for the chase for the championship this year. Thank you, Ricky, for hanging out with us at Phoenix Raceway. We were just talking while we were listening to Ricky Stenhouse there as I try to fix my mic. There it is. Okay, we were just talking during the break there, Cole, about about a new trend. Folks, this is where we're going to sound like old folks. Now,
Yeah, probably.
this is going to be hard to see on the camera. But if you look on my...
You could probably put it on my camera right there, honestly, and it'd show up. It's right there, right?
That's so true.
Maybe.
Hang on. Oh, my God.
You can stand up. You're good.
Hell.
You're
All
good.
right. Here we go. Can we see that? Oh, you can't. Oh, there it is.
Maybe.
No. This is like a no-no. Ah, screw it. You can't really see it. Son of a bitch. All right, I tried. Anyway, there's a new trend if you look on the internet around. I think NASCAR does a lot of this now.
They do. Yep.
I was looking at the Lollapalooza hat there, it is merchandise that either has the name of the team or series or event or whatever, but it's upside down.
Yeah. It's the dumbest thing I've ever seen in my life.
I don't get it.
It makes no sense. And they charge an arm and a leg for these things. You're better off getting like an officially licensed hat where it has like the legit logo. Why are we going with a typewriter font, like bended upside down text for a hat for a sports team or an event? It makes no sense at all. It looks so dumb. If you're out there in public wearing these hats, just know I am judging you and I have every right to. Sorry. Not sorry, actually.
Because I was at Innings Festival a couple weeks ago, and yeah, they were selling like hotcakes, and there was innings, but it was spelled upside down.
So stupid.
And I don't understand it. So there you go. That's Cole and I, millennials, sounding like we're boomers. Thank you very much.
Yep.
Goodbye, everybody. Have a great day. Okay, let's move on. I want to touch on some IndyCar real quick before we get out of here because they had some great news this week, which is their TV ratings continue to be absolutely spectacular.
Spectacular.
Remember, the start time for the Arlington Grand Prix got moved up an hour on like 24 hours notice. So it started at essentially like, I don't know, what was it? It
was like 8:30.
8:30 here. 8:30 here in Arizona, Pacific time. 11:30 out east. And I was kind of worried. I was like, okay, well, what does that mean for ratings? 'Cause that's pretty dang early. Well, it turns out it's great for ratings because according to Fox Sports PR, 1.336 million viewers tuned into the Arlington Grand Prix. This is the first time that the IndyCar series has averaged more than 1 million viewers in the first 3 races since in the post-merger era.
Wow. That's
so
awesome. I didn't
over
know that.
15 years. This is since 2008. This has never happened. Up 142% over last year's third race of the season. It peaked at 1.5 million viewers, and IndyCar is averaging 1.3 million viewers, which is up 48% from last year. Incredible job from everybody IndyCar this year. Incredible job by Fox Sports. It is just night and day from last year to this year. Because I remember last year at this time we were talking about how like Long Beach and the first couple races and Thermal were bad. Like nobody tuned in to watch those races, and we were getting really concerned. And for whatever reason, and I think you know what the biggest reason for me is, Cole? Momentum. They took three straight weeks of racing. So you get people tuning in for that first week
Exactly.
at St. Pete. You had some of your NASCAR people tuning in to watch the truck race at St. Pete. And maybe that got them into IndyCar a little bit more. It's like, oh, I'll check out IndyCar too. And now they're tuning in every week to watch this series. And it's a spectacular start for IndyCar. Spectacular job by Fox Sports. And they're off this week, but back on the 29th for the Long Beach Grand Prix, one of the crown jewels of the sport. So this is awesome. I love this. First of all, it's great for motorsports and enduro. Rising tide lifts all boats. But when NASCAR has a legit competitor to look at, like IndyCar, now that is like, oh man, they're starting to get all their ducks in a row, and they're garnering more than our Xfinity series now, right? That's good. That's gonna continue to involve the sport. So yeah, congratulations IndyCar on your first 3 races coming out on top. Cole, did you see this little conspiracy theory that I saw this morning from Alex Palou and Will Power?
As I was leaving the house, I saw it very briefly on my timeline, but I didn't get to watch the video. But I heard about it, yes.
Okay, I did not see. Yeah, I saw this morning, and this was in the IndyCar post-race press conference with Will Power and Alex Palou, who finished on the podium alongside Kyle Kirkwood, who won the race. And I didn't see this till this morning, but there's a conspiracy out there, and I didn't notice this. Have you noticed when you're watching IndyCar races that Alex Palou does not have an in-car camera?
I did not notice that.
Never.
I really didn't notice.
Never noticed it. Never. I hadn't noticed it either, which apparently this is a thing. Alex Palou does not have an in-car camera.
That's insane.
And again, this is the best driver in the sport right now, Alex Palou, defending champion. And for whatever reason, he doesn't have an in-car camera. Again, I never noticed it until it was brought up by Will Power and Alex Palou on the dais this weekend.
He's talking about the onboard camera.
He never has an onboard. I've never seen a championship leader all last year not get the onboard.
Well, it's been since I joined, right? I think only in 2021 I had it.
It's very strange.
We can put the money together to put it on my car.
It's not that. The series has one that flows between cars. And many times when I was leading the championship, I always had the onboard. So I think we're going to all vote for you to have the onboard.
I'm down.
What's going on in there? You doing something?
I'm down. Yeah, obviously we're trying to hide stuff. But anytime.
You want the onboard? We'll talk to IndyCar.
All right.
I can organize it.
Anytime.
She'll give me permission.
I'll start hiding some other stuff then. It's fine.
I just want to see how you drive. I'm very interested. Very interested.
Damn, man.
There we go. This is why I love IndyCar so much, because I think they do have the best personalities in all of motorsports. I think NHRA is right up there too, and it's something that NASCAR is sorely lacking. We've talked about it on this show, but like that kind of banter back and forth, so fun. Seeing Will Power successful is so fun.
Oh, it is. I love it.
And it's great for the sport. And again, I don't know if anybody in the chat didn't notice this. I've never seen this brought up before about Alex Palou's onboard camera. So there you go. There's a new conspiracy, Cole, that Alex Palou is hiding what he's doing inside the race car.
I mean, I'm surprised it's even legal, because like in NASCAR, it's like every car is made the same way. Everyone has a camera, even if it's not used. They have a camera that's specified weight that would be a camera. So I don't know. It is very bizarre to me, and maybe there could be some funny business. Yeah, since his rookie season in 2021, he hasn't had an onboard camera.
Yeah,
and he's won the championship for the 5 years since then. So
conspiracy. X-Files music. Play the X-Files music. Just kidding. We can't do that, or they'll come after us. Okay, let's move on. Cole, Cody, and myself put together a little tier list. We did this last year. We did driver tiers last year. I want to bring that back at some point this year, but
for sure.
This time we decided to come up with something I'm calling track tiers. Very, very creative title.
Yeah. How did you come up with that, by the way?
Well, that's a great question, because you see how what we're doing is we are ranking tracks. You see, so we're going to take all of the tracks in the NASCAR Cup Series, and we're going to put them in a tier list.
Oh. Really? Damn. Okay, I see what you did there.
So you see what I did is I mashed the two together, the two things we're talking about, which are tracks and tiers.
Okay, yeah.
And we put them in a list, and so that's why I called it track tier list.
Creative.
Isn't that creative, Cody? Cody hasn't said a word on the show.
I've never heard a better name or title for this this program ever.
There you go.
It's been a great show.
It's the Freak Nation for a reason. It's the Freak Nation. It's the Freak Nation for a reason.
I'm impressed.
Okay, here's the problem with this, though. I came up with that great name, but nobody laid out any actual rules for the following segment. So Cody put together the tiers, which you will see in a second, and everybody was like, okay, put together your tier list. No rules were made, so all of us had a completely different set of rules that we were going by, and we're governing our choices here. I was the one that went completely off the rails with my choices, as expected. Cole, why don't we start with yours?
Sure.
and let's see what Cole Cusimano's track tier list looks like.
All right.
There it is.
So I got some disclaimers here. Wait, that's not mine. That's not mine. Yeah. That's not mine.
Conspiracy!
It's like, wait
You're
a
being
second.
silenced.
Wait
You
a
know
second.
what?
Wait,
One of us
did
labeled them wrong, and I have 2 of mine on there.
Oh, so why don't we go with you, Cody?
Well, we can, but I need to fix yours first. So let's go with Suave's.
Okay.
Never mind. Okay, let's go with mine first. Okay.
Looks like Suave's, yeah.
There it is. There's my list. Okay. So if you look at how we put this together, Cody listed the top tier as chase must-haves. Now, I didn't see this particularly as putting together 10 tracks that must go in the chase. I see this as most tier lists are, which is like you generally have your S tier, of which I still don't understand what that means. I don't understand why we just can't go A to F.
Yeah.
But whatever. Okay. Anyway, so in my like elite tier, that's what I chose. I didn't pick 10 tracks like you and Cody did. I just picked my elite tier tracks that I think are the best on the circuit, and that's what I did here. Now, I didn't put them in particular order. None of these are in order. I just put them in there in as they came across my thing, and so like it's not in like power ranked order 1 to 30 or whatever. Like these are just kind of random and inside their tiers. But yeah, what do you think here? I put Coda, my favorite road course, in there by far. Darlington coming up this weekend. I've said multiple times that I love Darlington. The racing, is up and down in the past, right?
Yeah.
I think it was last year where William Byron had the lead for like almost 300 laps. Like he was
98% of the race.
He was leading the entire race until the very end. And I think there was a strategy call where he lost the lead, and then Darlington under the previous horsepower package. You just couldn't pass the leader, right?
Yeah.
So hopefully that changes this weekend as we get more horsepower and a change in the diffuser at the bottom of the race car. But Darlington is like that track. You have to drive like hell on that track, man. It is absolute hell to be a driver in that race car around that place, and so that's why it's in my elite tier. And then Atlanta Motor Speedway, banger after banger there. That's also my elite tier. You can take a look at the rest of the list there. There's a lot of B's in there, which are tracks that have put on better, decent racing, right? I put IMS in there. Despite the racing not being good, it is still the most historic track in North America for me. Moving on down the list, the C list is like races I literally don't remember happening there. Like they're just forgettable. And then everything else on the bottom there, I can see go away and I wouldn't miss them.
I'm absolutely shocked that Martinsville is in there. It's got to go to.
Yeah, and Bristol. I mean, there's a lot of history in those tracks.
There's a lot of history there, but like,
the racing sucks there.
Nobody shows up. First of all, nobody shows up to Bristol anymore, and the racing isn't good there.
Yeah, no, I get that. I understand.
And Martinsville was only good because there was drama surrounding the elimination race. And so, to me, those tracks can go like in this current package. I'm just look at Bowman Gray, short track, Wilkesboro, short track, New Hampshire, short track, Bristol, short track, Martinsville, short track.
Yeah.
NASCAR.
I get it.
They just, for me, the Cup Series, it just doesn't race well on short tracks, and I can take or leave them. Outside of Phoenix, which is up there because it is our home track here, so I have some fondness for that track. But there you go. That's my list.
Okay.
Hate it.
All right, Cole.
All right. Do I have? Let's see the actual list here. Okay, perfect. Okay.
Is this actually yours?
This is okay. So
Sorry for mislabeling.
I went with how it was like tiered out. So I put 10 tracks in that top tier, but I would not necessarily include all of those in like my S tier had it not been that label. But I want to disclaimer a few things here. For the It's Gotta Go, I only have San Diego and Chicagoland down there because we have not seen races there yet with this current car.
That's fair.
So that's why they were down there. But those other three, New Hampshire, Bowman Gray, North Wilkesboro, awful racing. I respect the history that comes with North Wilkesboro and Bowman Gray, but the racing there has just been abysmal and unwatchable, really, with this current car. So I put them down there. And plus, they recently re-entered the chat of the sport. So I can do without them. We had been without them for many, many years. The C tier, Texas usually puts on good racing, but kind of like you were saying with your C tier, I never
don't remember
anything from those races. Like I remember Chase Elliott won there one year, and then from there I really do not have a single clue. But it's a 1.5 mile track. The racing's usually good. There's a very forgettable track. Iowa, I mean, it's more of the same thing. Like there's strategy that goes into this one, but it's a relatively newer track, and I'm not really like drawn to it. Richmond, I respect the history. I've been there before. It's a great racing community. It's a great venue, but the racing there is just not good. So I put that in the C tier. For the B tier, these are tracks that I respect, and some of them I have like some fond memories of. Like obviously, Pocono. It's not known for great racing, but I think it's an awesome track to be at. The scenic part of it's awesome. Same kind of thing with like Sonoma. Like I'm not a huge fan of that track, but the views are great. It's been in the sport for a long time. It's one of their original 2 road courses. Indianapolis, I felt weird putting it not in A tier, given its history and its standing as one of the best venues in motorsports, but the racing there is just not good. And Dover, I struggle not to put it in the A tier, but it goes back to this current car where it just doesn't race very well. But the venue itself is an A tier track for me. If we were doing not chase must-haves as the S tier, that would be in my S tier for tracks. So disclaimer there. And then obviously you got to put Daytona in the A, rarefied air. Love Atlanta as well, COTA as well. Racing at Michigan's been great. You can kind of put it down there with the C tier to some extent, but last year the race there was amazing. But just speaking on having tracks in the chase, that's why I didn't have Atlanta or Daytona in there. And
that to me is that's your big mistake here is you don't have a super speedway at all.
Well, I wouldn't want that in. I don't think it belongs in the chase. But if there were to have if we were to must have one there, it would be Atlanta. Because
come back to us here because
it's been a little bit.
We need to go at this a little bit because I'm going to disagree on this because last year we were talking about Atlanta and we were mad that it wasn't a cutoff race or it wasn't in the playoffs. Well, now we have the chase this year. It is the best race on the circuit.
I agree,
and I don't know why you don't have
this would be S tier.
But I don't know why you don't have your best we were complaining about road courses, how road courses are in here. Well, you want to crown a champion, you got to race everywhere.
Okay. No, you're right. You're right there. I probably should have had that in there because I don't like having
Cole put together his list at 2:00 in the morning last night.
I put it together right before I came here.
Hammered. Cole was hammered last night when he put together his list. So what's going on here.
Here's what I'll say. I did not include Daytona in that tier because I don't like those true drafting tracks in there. But Atlanta is different because I feel like you're never truly out of contention unless you DNF, and it's really hard to DNF there for some reason. Like, we've seen so many guys getting wrecks, and they're still there at the end.
Yeah.
So it's like you're never out of it at Atlanta. I think it brings in that drafting track art to the racing, but it's also like it's more manageable. So it's, I don't know. It probably does belong in there. But anyway, yeah, that's kind of my tier.
Because I would put both of them if it was up to me. Let's go back to Cole's list for a second, so we can I'll make some changes, and this will be the definitive official chase. Okay. Here I am dumping out Bristol, and I am dumping out Martinsville, and I am putting Daytona and Atlanta in there.
Okay, I mean I respect it. So the reason, again, thinking of the chase format here, I did include Bristol and Martinsville because they're very historic tracks for the venue or for the series. To kind of go along with what you were saying about Darlington, the racing there has not been awesome since this car has been introduced. Same thing with Martinsville outside of the cutoff racing, but it's one of those tracks I associate with Darlington because there's a lot of history to it, and it's notoriously extremely grueling on these drivers and teams. And that's why one of my favorite wins of all time was Dale Jr. when he finally got that win in Martinsville in 2014, because that's one that the drivers really seek out. They want that grandfather clock. It's a very grueling track and a very, I don't know, it's a very historic venue, but that's my tier. Had to put Phoenix up there because it's the best track on the circuit, best views, best racing, best strategy. So that's my number one track on the entire circuit. You cannot tell me otherwise.
All right, Cody, what do you got for us?
All right. Mine's a little more based on what I am anticipating will be good this year with the 750 package. And you can see I'm a big fan of the short tracks.
Yep.
This is terrible.
So my chase must-haves is loaded up, baby.
Oh.
Dover, yes.
It's loaded up. But again, this is on to anticipation, and I'm hoping they're good with the 750 package and no underbody.
Mm-hmm.
But That's pretty much it. And I just can't.
Okay,
stand
let's see what you
Pocono,
have at the bottom, because this is also
Coda's
pissing me
pretty
off.
crazy, honestly.
I was not a fan of the race this year. So
I will say I think it was weaker than years past. This one.
that is the only reason it's in the bottom, because I did not enjoy it this year.
All right, I
can get
think you're
behind
both
that.
wrong, but that's fine.
Hey, but look at I got where are they? I don't even know where I put them. Where's Watkins Glen at?
It's
up there
in
somewhere.
the S tier where it belongs.
You put it in the chase.
That should be
Yeah.
a chase track.
Yeah. Yep.
Oh, I was racing Watkins Glen last night on NASCAR 25.
I'm a big fan of Watkins Glen.
I was
It's
terrible at it, absolutely terrible, because on NASCAR 25, Big Glenn knows this because he played. Cody, you know this as well. Racing at road courses sucks because it is really
It's
tough
so
to
bad.
see the braking boards. So it is really hard to know your braking zones every time going to the corners. I also didn't realize how fast it is there around
Yeah.
Watkins Glen, that there's just not a lot of braking zones there to begin
Yeah,
with.
when
So
you're going through the S's, it's wild.
it's fast,
It's
dude.
wild.
It's crazy. That's actually really fun to drive. But yeah, your list sucks, Cody. I'm sorry. Can you explain why you have IMS at the bottom, please?
Because it's just so slow and boring. It's not built for these cars.
The
Okay,
racing there
so
does suck.
Cody hates history.
Hey, no. IndyCar, I will watch
You put
all
Bristol
day.
in that tier.
All day. I just can't stand the Cup cars there. I can't stand Xfinity cars there or O'Reilly cars there. It's not good for NASCAR. But damn near anything
I
else
mean, to be
is
fair,
really good.
in your defense, there's a reason why they stopped racing on the oval for some
Yeah,
reason.
exactly.
Yeah, no, it's not good.
I will say this: I thought the race there last year was actually pretty good, and especially like compared to years past.
But again, my list is based on anticipation, and I'm anticipating it's still not going to be good in 2026.
Shout out to Worldwide Technology Raceway.
Yeah,
in the
that's
playoffs.
see, you
They
see
have
it's
a playoff
up there.
race.
I'm a big fan of what Chris Blair does, so I'm excited to see what they got going on.
Get your tickets, y'all. WWTRaceway.com.
It's a deserving chase track for sure.
Oh,
It's kind of like a Phoenix, to where it's like a shorter track, and there's so much strategy that goes into it, and the racing's usually pretty good there too. So, that's definitely a chase track.
Yep, WWTRaceway.com. I want to go to the comments here for a second. Bud Gillen is saying that he could do it on a controller but not a wheel, racing around Watkins Glen, which is interesting.
I feel like that's fair. I feel like that would be easier on a controller at Glen. It's tough.
Maybe, yes. I don't know. I feel like, first of all, racing games on controllers in general are insane.
No, big no for me.
So the people
is
that can,
insane, but
the people that can do it really, really well are great.
oh yeah,
And I'm happy for you. But I raced F1 23 on a controller for the longest time.
yeah, no, that's hard.
And I was so bad.
It's very
I was
hard.
so bad, dude. I couldn't. The car was completely undrivable, which is crazy. All right, there we go. Those are our NASCAR track tier lists, everybody. So you can. We'll put those out on the internet,
Sure.
and we'll let the people decide who had the best one.
Okay.
And people are gonna be really confused why I only put 2 tracks in my chase list.
Yeah.
But that's fine. That's fine. That's fine. All right, let's wrap this bad boy up here tonight, this evening, wherever you may be listening to us. We were just talking about Darlington. It is throwback week for a couple of drivers. Carson Hocevar's Chili's
Killer.
Intimidente.
blue and yellow car, throwing it back to Dale Earnhardt back in the day with the Wrangler colors. Elite. Lionel, if you're listening, give us the diecast already so all of us in this room can pre-order it.
Yeah.
Because you're going to take our money.
Absolutely.
Take our money. Darlington. I think Darlington's going to be awesome this weekend.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, it's going to be amazing. That was all the talk from the drivers at Vegas, was how they're just totally amped up for this weekend because they're bringing this short road course package that it's increasing the horsepower to 750 to Darlington, and it's just going to make for these cars to be really on edge, and the tires are going to wear insanely. And we saw them wear a lot last year too, so adding that into the mix for this race, which should be even more hectic, is going to be awesome. I cannot wait.
I'm going to look this up because I'm curious. So William Byron was the pole starter last year. Let's see how many laps he led, just so we can get this correct here. William Byron led 243 of the 297 laps.
Yeah, it's sickening.
Insane. Because I remember watching that race last year, and all of us in the group chat were like, we honestly wanted William Byron to set the record for most laps led because that was the only thing that really made the race interesting.
Yeah, it's true. Yeah, it's a horrible race outside of that.
And then Denny Hamlin ended up getting the win there. William Byron finishing second. There were only 4 lead changes the entire race last year. I think that changes a lot this year. Getting rid of going to that short track package in the underbody, I think is going to make a massive, massive difference. And so hopefully you're going to be able to follow cars a lot easier, and you're not going to get stuck. Like when you try to get to the leader, that was what was going on last year. Like you try to get to the leader where you're just stuck in that dirty air. You can't move around. You can't pass. And so I have a feeling that's going to change a lot. I'm so excited for this race. I think it's going to be one of the best of the year with the 750 package. I'm curious to see how the tires hold up as well. And I think it's gonna be a banger. Who's the favorite this weekend?
Denny's favored. Yep, plus 550, I believe.
Okay, I like it. It's been a Toyota year already this year for the most part. Right?
Yeah, and they won the last 2 races last year at Darlington. So
there you go.
And that was actually little money stop knowledge here. So in the 4 years doing this current car, right, 22, 23, 24, 25, 4 years, the first 3 years were not won by a Toyota. They won the last 2 this past year. So they found some speed. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. All right. The money stop drops on Friday. Cole and normally Steven have all your money knowledge coming up on the money stop here on the SpeedFreaks YouTube channel. Steven is off this week, so I get to fill in again this week. And
he killed it last time. Killed it.
I did?
You did.
Yeah,
you did. You did.
I did.
Yeah. We can go over those numbers probably when we record, yeah.
All right. I like that. Cool. All right. Yeah, stay tuned for the Money Stop, everybody. Thanks for hanging out with us here on this Horsepower Hump Day. Thanks to Cody for getting the audio issues figured out. Did a great job back there as always, dude.
Some bonehead moves were made. But
oh, good.
We figured it out.
Hey, you know what? We live and learn in this show, okay? We live and learn. Nobody really wanted to hear from Ross Chastain and Daniel Suarez anyway, so.
Yeah.
I mean, they are fixed now. But
we'll see if Ross Chastain or Daniel Suarez make it into the picks for Darlington. Stay tuned for that, everybody. All right, thanks for hanging out with us, everybody. Make sure you are following us on Twitter, on Instagram, official Speed Freaks on Instagram, because we're going to give away some General. Oh, we did give away some General tires this weekend. Congrats to our contestant this weekend. Beat the Freaks is going to be back this week again, making picks for Darlington. Your chance to win a set of General tires on us in the Freak Nation. If you follow us on Instagram and you drop your 3 picks, hashtag SpeedFreaksGT, hashtag BeatTheFreaks, your chance to take home a set of General tires. For Cole, for Cody back there, for Kenny and Crash, who will be back on Sunday night. Make sure you are tuning in on Sunday night, 10 p.m. Eastern, 7 Pacific, on FS2, Freak Radio Network, right here on YouTube as well. Until Sunday night, everybody, goodbye.